Hallo, liebe Leute, und willkommen bei einem weiteren Interview. Wir haben ein Interview hier auf linksabbiegen.nur.de natürlich, aber lefturnsonny.de. Und ja, unseren Gast seht ihr dort schon, Brayton Laster. Ich habe den Namen eben gut gesagt angeblich. Ich hoffe jetzt auch.
Mhm.
Aber bevor ich jetzt groß rumrede, gebe ich Daniel das Wort und wir gucken einfach mal, wohin uns der Abend führt. Daniel.
Ja, Robert brauche ich ja nicht vorzustellen, dann stelle ich mal unseren Gast vor. Ja, hallo Brayton.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. And now I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the German Home of NASCAR community and tell us about what you want to tell us.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Brayton Laster. I mainly compete in the ARCA Menards Series, which is a stepping stone in the NASCAR ladder. It's the final step as far as the regional series goes before you get in the NASCAR Truck Series. So we're typically at the track most weekends with a NASCAR National Series, and you still have a lot of guys that will come down and run ARCA just to get seat time because it's not like we're any slower. Actually, some weekends, especially short tracks, the ARCA Series is typically the fastest series there that weekend. I know at Dover this past spring, the ARCA cars were 3/10 faster than the Cup cars. Um, so. I mean, it's just a great place to get seat time, and you have a wide variety of teams. Kind of one of the last places they family team can really compete, and that's what I'm known for. Is I go kind of from family team to small team back and back, and I help them out where I can, and provide good finishes hopefully, or bring the car in one piece. But I've raced for 12 or 13 years, mainly short tracks across the Midwest or the eastern part of United States, and I've done all kinds of racing. I've driven like four cylinders. I've driven like V8, like street stocks, like 1970 Monte Carlo stuff like that. I've driven some late models, and I've driven school buses. I've raced a school bus. Um, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, I've been racing ARCA the past couple of years, mainly on a part-time basis, going from team to teams, kind of wherever I'm needed most. Like I think I've been with 3 or 4 different teams already this year, and it's not like we're mad. I'm gonna go back to those teams at some point. Just it depends on when they need someone coming in to give them a decent finish. Bring the car home in one piece. And they're not worried if it wins or not. That's typically when I'll get the call to come in kind of at last second notice most of the time. And yeah, we're getting ready actually for a couple races in the next month in 3 and 4 weeks. Indianapolis Raceway Park and Salem Speedway. I'm from Indianapolis, which is a big IndyCar territory, Indy 500 and everything. And I'm a stock car guy doing NASCAR stuff in Indianapolis, so I'm not sure what I'm doing here, um, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, how old are you and where do you come from?
I am 21 years old, and it's like I'm from Indianapolis. I'm on the south side. There's a little town called Greenwood. So it's just 10, 15 minutes south of Indianapolis. So, like I said, I don't know why I went the stock car ladder or went the stock car and NASCAR route um, instead of IndyCar, considering I'm from Indiana and from Indianapolis, but it just never really happened.
Yeah, and most of the German community in stock car racing knows the cup level,
Mhm.
and some know Xfinity and trucks, and some specialists and some crazy stock car guys know ARCA racing. It's not so popular in Germany. Can you tell us the biggest differences between the cup and the ARCA?
Mhm. Yeah, so a good way to kind of put it as far as comparing it where it's at on the ladder, it's very close. I want to kind of call it like Formula 3 is where I'd put on the ladder because it's kind of that last big break. If you can make it past ARCA, you're in that top kind of grasp of things. You're getting looked at by the bigger teams, and you have your name out there on notice. And for us in ARCA, all of our races are broadcasted on Fox Sports, the same platform that you watch the Cup races on. So I mean, it's a pretty big series. We have average of like 180 or 200,000 live viewers every week, and it's typically they use the older NASCAR Cup chassis. So NASCAR went to the Gen 7 or the next generation car a couple of years ago, and had all those Gen 6 cars, and they basically went down to Xfinity teams or the ARCA teams. And so they use the NASCAR Truck Series motor. Which is a lot of people don't know. They use the truck motor, so same drivetrain, same transmission as a NASCAR truck, using the body or using the chassis from, like I said, the older NASCAR Cup cars. And some are a little bit older, so you have some cars in ARCA that are 20, 25 years old, and you have some cars that are 2021 and 2022. So there's a wide range of disparity there. And I mean, some teams put a lot of money. I mean, there are teams that spend millions and millions of dollars a year to go run ARCA. And I mean, they have, cup level support. They go in the wind tunnels. They have the pull down rigs. I mean, the technology and engineering behind these teams, like, you wouldn't expect it for an ARCA level team. It's like an F1 team using F1 data for an F3 car. I mean, that's really what it is. And you have some small teams that work out of like a 2-car garage in their backyard. So there's a huge disparity between equipment, support, and resources for sure.
All right, it sounds amazing. It's that you're using the truck motor, the engines. I didn't know that, but that explains why you're so damn fast. um, what's your story regarding racing? So, like, how did you become a race car driver? I assume there is something like a family tradition in it, but
Yeah.
how does it look like? How do you get into the sport? How does it happen?
So it mainly starts with my dad. Being from Indiana, my dad grew up going to the Indy 500, and he was always a fan of going there and partying. He would party a little too hard than he should have, and there's a short track here, a small 5 mile asphalt oval called the Indianapolis Speedrome, and like I said, it's a short track, little bull ring or a small track, and my dad in the 80s and 90s started helping out a couple guys. They're just going out there to drink a few beers and turn a couple wrenches, having fun. That's how he got into it. And then about the late 90s, so he's in early 2000s, he started owning cars out there himself. And these aren't anything fancy. They're like 4-cylinder cars. You knock the windows out and you go racing. And figure eight racing is a big deal here in Indiana. And figure eight racing, for those that don't know, is there's an intersection in the middle, and there's no stoplights, there's no stop sign, and there's no ramps. I mean, you're literally driving at each other through an intersection, and they run those in all kinds of cars, and they have late models here, which they're called outlaw figure eight late models, and they're not like your typical late model, because these cars they're purpose built to turn left and right. I mean, some guys have $120,000-$150,000 in this car to go shoot through an intersection. And that's my dad started getting into that and owning those cars a little bit, kind of towards the lower end. And then he kind of got tired of paying for other people's racing, and so he said, you know what, he's gonna become a race car driver himself. So he raced a little bit here and there, and he's raced on and off throughout the years. And then I started in go-karts when I was 10, around 10 or so. Maybe eight, I think at 8 or 9, I had my first race, and we took a little hiatus. And then when I was 10 or so, we started really hitting the ground running, going full time with it. And it's been slowly moving up the ranks ever since. When I was 12 years old, I was racing full size like V8, like street stock cars or like enduro type cars, like the old Monte Carlos, the old Thunderbirds, stuff like that, against guys that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And it's because it was one of the cheaper classes to run, and that's what we ran at the time. So I ran that for a couple of years. I ran the 4-cylinder classes for a little bit. I ran the outlaw stuff, and then in 2021, in December 2021, so Christmas, I knew a team through TikTok, the social media platform, an ARCA team. And they had made a post saying, hey, we're looking for some drivers to come and run the Daytona test. Daytona, home of the Daytona 500. Every January, ARCA goes and they have a 2-day test. Because like I mentioned, ARCA is at that final stepping stone before we really get to the NASCAR big series. And so ARCA, they run all the big tracks. They run Daytona, they run Talladega, they run the 1.5 miles. So they can run Kansas and Michigan and Pocono. And it's the first series you really get that big track experience. So like when you go from short track racing, the thing with road courses is like most road courses are the same in the aspect of you don't really encounter something completely different as you move up. Like you might be going fast, you might have a different kind of car, but the track itself is the same relatively. you start going to the bigger ovals, and now they're going from carrying 70 miles an hour into a corner to 170 into a corner. And now there's you had 2 degrees of banking versus now you got 24 degrees of banking. So that's what the whole point of the ARCA platform really is to go and get that experience. So Daytona is typically the first time drivers will use the draft and get super speedway experience, and they have a 2-day test every January. And I had an offer, like I said, from the team. I reached out to them and like, hey, come on down, test with us, have a great time, get that seat time, get that experience. And we went down there and had 5 or 6 different drivers. And then when it was all said and done, like, hey, if you want to come back for the race, the ARCA race in February, which is 2 days before the Daytona 500, to come down, have a great time, and race with us, you're getting a shot, kid. And I was like, me? Like, I'm getting the race at Daytona? Because, I mean, I've never been down there to watch. I never thought I was going to get the opportunity, and now I'm racing on it. And so that was a pretty cool opportunity. And that first year, but the Daytona and Talladega, I had an awesome wreck at Talladega. I know most people don't say awesome wreck, but I mean, it was a pretty cool wreck. I got spun around at like 185 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers, but it's pretty fast. And had a car hit me head on and fly over me. Like it ramped off of my car. It was pretty cool. I had an in-car camera for it and everything. And then 2023, I did Daytona and a couple other races here and there. And then this year we did Daytona again. And we did Kansas. We did Phoenix. So we're getting ready to do a couple other tracks. And the ARCA, we do a dirt race. And we do 2 dirt races in ARCA, which is pretty cool. And I forgot to mention this. About 2018, I started running dirt late models, which is like one of the top levels of dirt racing here. So I have a pretty extensive dirt background as well. So I'm always excited for those dirt races that ARCA goes to. And something too with the ARCA cars I didn't mention is we use the older style of NASCAR Cup bodies from like 2013 and 2016. So they look like the Cup cars, and so that's the thing. It's like even the aero package, like the downforce, the rear downforce mechanical, like it's all pretty close to like the older style of Cup cars. So a lot of people like ARCA for that. And it's cool because you get to run the bigger tracks like Daytona, like Kansas, and we'll also go to a lot of the bigger short tracks. So that's like basically having a like F1 come to like your local track day track. It's pretty cool when like a NASCAR series rolls into this local short track. And that's one thing I love about ARCA.
Man, dude, this sounds so freaking awesome. Yeah, I've seen the dirt late model, the number 13 behind you on the picture. So yeah, that I thought so. Would have asked later.
Yeah, that is one of our dirt cars that we've ran. This is one of our figure 8 cars. This is my dad's poster. That is another figure 8 car. We had a friend give that one to us. And I don't know if I can get this off, but yeah, here's this is me at Daytona that first year,
Nice.
2020 testing, and I have a couple other pictures, but I can't get them off the wall real quick. I think that's mostly it, but yeah, no, it's been pretty cool. Coming from figure 8 racing, that's not something that's very big. It's only in certain pockets of the U.S. Indianapolis is one of the bigger regions for it. We're one of the few tracks in the entire country that run it on a regular basis. There's only about 5 or 6 tracks that really do it. So in the entire U.S. So there hasn't been a driver come from my home track to make it to NASCAR in 80 plus years. So it's pretty cool to kind of be one of the first guys in a couple generations to lead the way there.
The one who did it. Nice. All right, let's move on. I really like to hear the stories. This is really awesome. Sorry. So, your nickname is Pizza Man.
Huh.
Is that right?
Yes, yeah, Pizza Man. I like pizza. I don't have my helmet with me. I wish I did. But I have a pepperoni pizza helmet.
Oh,
that
nice.
I'm known for. We will tear this one off the wall. Look on my hero card. You can kind of see it there. But I have a pepperoni pizza, and you can see it down there. Yeah, I have a pepperoni pizza helmet, and that stems from in my early days of racing. I really like pepperoni pizza, and I'd always go up to the concession stand, or I'd always go up to the food stand and get pizza to eat at the races. And so people started calling me the Pizza Kid. And then at school, I had a pepperoni pizza backpack, little back or pack on my back, and I had shoes and I had pants, I had socks, I had a pizza hat, and that's the thing is I'll wear a pizza hat to the track and I'll give it away to some kid. I'm like, hey kid, do you want a hat? And they think it's the coolest thing ever. I have the helmet. I have some other like cool random clothing here and there that are pretty sweet, but no, I just like pizza, and someone called me the Pizza Man and the Pizza Kid one day, and I was like, that's it. That's my brand, and we're sticking with it. And so it worked out.
Yeah, I like pepperoni pizza too.
Amazing.
You can't beat it. I mean, that's the thing is like, it's very well known. Everyone can relate to pizza, and everyone just knows what it is. If somehow they've never had pizza, they at least know what it is. So it's very relatable. There's not a big backstory behind it. It's not like some of these drivers have like a really obscure nickname, and like no one knows what it means at all.
Can you eat spicy?
Huh?
Can you eat spicy?
I mean, I'm not a huge spicy guy. I try not to. Huh? I'm sorry.
Robert is a spicy guy.
I'm not a big spicy guy. I'm not gonna lie.
I once accidentally ate half a habanero. I've never been so much crying and laughing at the same time.
Over here, I don't know if they have them over in Europe, but they have these chips called like a one chip challenge, and it's supposed to be like 1,000,000 Scovilles or something like crazy hot. And I'm not a big spicy guy at all. And someone said they'd give me $20 to try it. I took like one nibble, and I just started like vomiting everywhere. It was terrible.
Yeah, this is pure pain. This capsaicin. I think we got them for a short period of time, and then they started to get to the hospital because they made these challenges to eat them like kids. And yeah, since then I don't think you can find them anymore in supermarkets over here.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. So back to topic. I saw your offer on Twitter, and you offer to buy advertising space on your car. And how did you come up with the idea to make the advertising available for private individuals?
Yeah, so that's something that's pretty cool we do, because a lot of like small content creators, a lot of small businesses, a lot of the small personalities, they want to have their logo or their brand or their YouTube channel or their podcast or a picture of their cat, their dog. They want to have them on a race car, but you talk to anyone, they're like, oh man, especially like the smaller teams, like, hey, I need 2 or 3 grand to put you like a tiny spot in the car, and that's one thing about working with a driver who has so many positive relationships with so many teams is and this typically how it works too, is like I'm able to typically get better deals on races because they know I will bring the car back in one piece to the best of my ability. I'm not a driver that's known for wrecking stuff, so I'm able to go out here and offer like $100 sponsorship. So $100 will get you getting that small sticker on the car. And most other teams want $5,000 or $6,000 to put a small sticker on the car. So it's something we kind of do that. It allows anyone to be a part of the team, and people don't think it helps, but like trust me, it helps a ton more than you can imagine. Especially when we're a smaller team, we get enough of those. We're able to go buy an extra set of tires. We'll have practice tires. We'll have a full race set tire versus because a full set of tires in ARCA is about $2,400-ish, give or take, depending on what track. Or they can go buy like 20 Apple tires from a team for like $500 or $600. So most small teams, we're only spending $500 or $600, and yeah, we're going to be slower, but it's what we can afford. So we're able to get enough, and we can actually buy new tires or maybe put a little bit more towards the car and get a better piece of equipment. So I mean, it helps out a lot. And as far as coming up with it, I had the idea at Iowa Speedway last year. ARCA has been running Iowa the past couple of years before the bigger NASCAR series came in. Excuse me. But I saw at the week before I was at the ARCA race at a road course at Mid Ohio. I was spotting I was the spotter for a team, and I was walking over the car after the race, and I was looking at the decals in the car, and someone paid the guy like $1,000 to have his face on the car. I was like, people are gonna pay to have their face in the car. I'm like, I like that. Um, and so the next week I had a call. It was literally like 4 days before the race. The race was on Friday. I got a call Monday saying, "Hey Brayton, I need you to come to Iowa. We're running Iowa. We need to drive a car." And so it was like, "Hey, if you can get some money to help buy tires, perfect." So I made a social media post. I'm like, "Hey, $100. We'll get you like a 3x3 on the car." And I'm like, it can be your face, it can be a picture of your cat, it can be a YouTube channel, it can be whatever you want. It can be your favorite meme, just a picture or whatever. And people started paying me to put like their face and stuff on the car. I was like, this is awesome, And people were loving it. The Fox broadcast was loving it. The team was loving it. And that's been kind of my thing is I'll go out here, I'll get some bigger sponsors, but to kind of help with some of the extra smaller costs, we're able to go out here and do $100, get your face in the car, get your brand in the car, get whatever you want.
Yeah, I found it a really good idea. So, surprise, surprise, we took the opportunity, and the Left Turns Only the logo will be on your car in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I said, it's an opportunity that most people don't know even exists. But like once they figure it out, like, oh, this is cool. Like they got to try at least once. I'll work with people too. That's the thing is like, all people reach out like, hey man, I got like $75. I'm gonna put a picture of like my mom on there and this and that. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll do it. Don't I got you. And so like I said though, it's a really cool little opportunity for a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't get that chance.
Yeah, we are also going through the steps. Our sticker was on a Euro wheel car, NASCAR, and now we are in ARCA, and the next step is trucks, step by step.
You forgot. Yesterday we got to know one sticker is in the right rear apartment of a Eurofighter.
Eurofighter, yes.
I don't know. Have no idea.
If I ever, well, I forgot to mention this too earlier. So in 2022, I did actually run a NASCAR truck race. I ran the dirt race. Like I have that
Okay.
dirt experience. I ran the dirt race back when the truck series used to go to the dirt race. And they didn't this year. That was at Knoxville, which is over in Iowa. It's like the middle part of the country, and it's known for a different kind of dirt racing. And I don't know why NASCAR went there, but we did. And so I had my truck debut there. We got 27th, and we finished without not a scratch on the car. The team owner said it was the first time he's ever brought a truck home from the dirt race with no damage on it. So the team owner was very, very happy with that. If I ever get back to the truck series too, like I plan on doing like, hey, $100, get you on the car, and I think we'll have a little bit more success with that because it's bigger atmosphere than ARCA. But no, that's something I plan on doing for at least most of my career. I still can because, like I said, it helps a lot more than people think, and then people are able to go and have their logo on a race car and on a NASCAR race car, and like, oh, look, that's my logo on there. So they get really excited for it. And I love seeing the reactions to it.
But you mentioned that Indy will be your next big race, and because I think it's always very interesting to get to know the driver from a personal side. So would you mind taking us through the race day? How do you get ready to race? What's the schedule from dusk till dawn? So like, how do you calm down after the race? What do you have any rituals you do? Something like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a big music guy. I like listening to music, so I typically listen to music quite a lot. It depends on where the race is too. Like I said, I'm a low budget guy, so I will typically drive to most races. Like Phoenix is a 30-hour drive from Indiana, and I drove 30 hours to go race Phoenix this year, and we broke after 15 minutes. So I drove 30 hours to race 15 minutes. I was a little bummed out about that one, but. So I'll typically, I'll kind of calm myself and going into the race weekend, typically a nice drive, or for Indy, for example, I'm 25, 30 minutes away from the track, so I'll wake up in my own bed that morning, which is going to be pretty good. And typically with the smaller teams is even ARCA, like I have to help my crew, just because we don't have the engineers, we don't have the tire people, and so typically when I'm with the smaller teams, I'm doing my own tires, I'm setting my own tire pressures, I'm helping go over the car, help the car go through tech. So I'm typically there pretty earlier than most drivers get there, just to kind of help with that whole setup of stuff. And then also, if I'm racing locally, I'll work on my own race cars locally too, after hours here at the shop. But as far as like the ARCA stuff, like I said, I'm my own tire guy. I set my own tires. I have to help go get fuel. I'll go get my own fuel. Making sure the car's okay before qualifying. If I have any spare time, I might go up in the grandstands and I talk to fans. I always try and make a point, at least at some point during the weekend, to go up into the grandstands and talk with the fans. If it's 5 minutes or 50 minutes, I try to go up there at least a little bit and give away some stuff. So I have that, and then typically race time, it's a whole different mentality. It's go time. They're a little bit more serious, and I like to I go to the track and have fun. A lot of people kind of might say, "Oh, he's not serious," or this and that. I'm like, I'm serious. I'm in the car, out of the car. I try to relax, a little bit, have fun. I can't walk around, tensed up all the time, and I just can't do that. And so I'll go out there and I'll race, and typically I'm pretty calm, and I'll help the team load up, do whatever they need to do, and we will kind of go our own ways at that point. I'll start the drive back home most of the time, and yeah, just listen to music while I'm driving, and that's about it.
Really cool. All right. Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, look into the future. And what are your next milestones you are aiming for, and where do you want the journey go to?
I mean,
To go.
yeah, no, I never really thought I'd make it to this level to begin with. Like obviously every driver growing up, they say, "Oh, I want to make it to the top. I want to make it in the Cup Series. I want to make it in IndyCar. I want to make it to F1." And growing up, and of course I was like that. I'm like, "Hey, I want to race NASCAR one day," but I never really thought it was realistic. I don't have a whole lot of, I don't have a large amount of funding. I don't have a whole lot of money behind me, versus some of these other drivers up and coming. And so I was always a little wary on that. And getting to this level has definitely been a dream come true and a milestone that I never thought I'd quite accomplish. And last season we scored 3 top tens, my first ever top tens in ARCA. We were pretty proud about that, especially considering I'm on a very part-time basis. I only do 5 to 7, 8 ARCA races a year, so only about a quarter to half the schedule. And so I try to make the most of every opportunity. And like I said, most of the time it's with a lot smaller teams. I think we can get that first top 5, or even that first podium. I think we'd be more than happy with that, and hopefully start making a name for ourselves a little bit in the Truck Series, and make it back up to the Truck Series and running there. Just at least have a presence up there. We might not be going for top 10s or top 20s straight away, but I think we can finish top 30. With the smaller teams, and kind of start making that way up there, and really start working our way up through the NASCAR ladder. And if it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, we've already made it to a point where I never thought I'd make it to. I'm kind of content with my career. Now I'm going to try just as hard, though, as I did to get to this level, to try and get to the next level. And that's one thing that really sucks is, it costs more and more money every time we move up. So we got, work. Like when I'm not working, or if I have a break, I'm out here, I'm emailing people, I'm messaging people, I'm working social media. I'm typically trying to do anything and everything I can at any given point to try and advance myself in my career. So I'd like to make it a Cup one day, and we'll see, hopefully.
All right. So we're like at half an hour, but before we finish the interview, I'd like to give 2 other questions. One, my son was asking me. I asked my son what he would ask a NASCAR driver. So he said, obviously not in English, but he wanted to know what goes through your mind when you get into the wall in the corner. So when your rear is breaking out and stuff, because he's 6 years old, so that's obviously the action he wanted to see. But he asked me, what's it for a driver like? If it's okay to ask something like that.
Yeah, no. So that's that's pretty funny. So I haven't wrecked a whole lot, at least in the ARCA level. I've wrecked here and there in the local and regional levels. But I know at Talladega, when I had that bad wreck I was talking about, and I was just cruising. Like I was like just kind of, I was almost like a daydreaming, sitting here, driving, 185 miles an hour, and you get turned, and instantly something just clicks in your head, like, oh, I'm getting turned, and some curse words here and there that I probably shouldn't say, and you're looking around and trying to make sure you're not about to get hit again, and it's always very, very frightening when you are like kind of up by the wall and you get turned down the track across traffic because you never know if you're going to get hit. And it's very quiet in your head, at least for me. Like typically, if I'm thinking about something, it'll just drain out in the second you come to a complete stop, or like you're safe and you're not going to get hit. It's one big sigh of relief, and you just kind of start talking to your team. And I had the radio conversations from my Talladega wreck. And, I get I get spun around, and the second I stop, I'm like, I mic up on the radio. I'm like, I'm okay. And so it's very frightening, kind of depending on the severity of the wreck. I know at Charlotte, I raced Charlotte last year, and I spun out in practice. I was pushing it a little too hard, going a little too fast in the corner, and overstepped the boundary. And I was going in the corner. I felt the car start to come around on me. And it's instantly like, oh shoot. You try to save it, but you don't want to save it too hard, or you put yourself back in the wall. But it's typically pretty quiet in there, because your body's just focused on how do I not tear the car up anymore, or how do I not get hit again.
Okay. Yeah. So I imagine that you completely break out of your tunnel of your mindset. So yeah. And another question, actually from Daniel. Are you a good co-pilot, sidecar passenger? Like when you don't drive, you sit next to one.
I do a lot of driving, like I said. And in the rare moment, like my girlfriend might be driving, typically I'm asleep at the wheel. I'm not asleep at the wheel. I'm asleep beside her while she's driving. Yeah, I don't sleep while driving. That'd be bad.
Kind of,
she's
yeah.
like driving. It's funny because I'm a very slow driver on the road. I would go typically below the speed limit just because I'm like, there's no point, You hear about NASCAR drivers getting like, or race car drivers like, oh, this guy was going 145 miles an hour in the 65. And they get in trouble all the time for it, and people call them idiots. I'm like, I'm not going to get called an idiot because I'm not going to do it. And so my girlfriend that would typically go faster than I do, and so I was like, hey, be careful here, like it's a little sketchy. Yeah, no, for real. I'm like making sure we're tight and everything, and she'll laugh at me. She goes, you drive a race car, what are you scared of? I'm like, hey, in a race car, I got full chassis and roll cage and a helmet. I don't have a helmet here.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time.
Amazing.
It was an amazing interview. I had a lot of fun. I hope you too.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is I had a blast. I had a great time.
All right, Brayton Laster for you, everyone. Give him a follow on social. I will try to remember and link it in the comments below or something. And yeah, you can follow his story. I think he's an amazing guy. So, do you want to say anything or to close it up? Or is everything set? All right.